make that shit look easy. I'm cooking all the things that you see on your TV. Watch it. Shaking, baking, flipping, whipping, sauteing. I could do it all, and I stay
What's up, everybody? It's me, your girl, your friend, Mary Lou, aka Lou BZ on track, aka the self-proclaimed champagne shawty. And today we're going to war, a food war. My one friend told me to watch it. He's like, Mary, you're a chef, right? And I was like, I do little things. And he's like, you should watch the show Food Wars. I immediately watched the first episode and everybody's clothes blew off. So of course I called my friend and I said, what am I watching? And he's like, get past the first episode. And then I got past and it was a pure gold. These people do their research. So out of all of the items that I could pick to make, I decided to make the jalapeno steak. Because I was really hungry and I was craving a steak that day. So we're gonna get right into jalapeno steak. We'll talk about some of the history. We'll make it, we'll eat it, we'll go on a fun adventure. Hopefully our clothes stay on. If it's delicious, they won't. I'm just saying. All right, let's do this. So I got a really cheap cut of steak. I left the price tag on it. Can you see it? Focus. This cost $5 pretty much. The only reason I got one that was this expensive because I have another one right here. Was only $2, but I chose the $4 one because I need the fat that is around the edge, because that fat is gonna help me make something delicious. So I'm just going to get it, trim this little piece off, and then you're gonna save this white part because this white part is going to melt down. It's gonna be the fat that we need. Okay, so after I cut it into 2 smaller pieces. I'm just gonna squirt. You're just gonna make little bitty slits through the meat. All going one way, bring them back, going in the other way. Next one. Okay, I didn't bring a plastic bag, so I'm gonna be mad ratchet right now. That's fine, that's gonna work the same way. So, I'm gonna get my steak and put it in this bag because I don't have a Ziploc bag. And then we need to pound the steaks out. So you could use a hammer, you could use a meat mallet, but I don't have any of those, so I'm just gonna punch this bad boy. See, and then now it's just nice and thin. I think I can go a little bit thinner with it. So I'm just gonna use this part of my hand and just tap it all out, because now I just want it nice and even. A little tappy. Who needs tools? I got 2 perfectly good tools at the end of my wrist, am I right? Okay, so when you're done, you're gonna end up with your pieces just like this, and this is that $2 one that I told you I had. So, easy peasy like a lemon squeezy. Next, we're just gonna let this sit at room temperature. Good thing about steak is like you can let it sit out for a little bit and it's gonna be just fine. You want it to sit out and become room temperature before you cook it because it helps with the cooking process. Now, what I'm not saying is to leave that bad boy out for like 3 hours because you will murder somebody. Okay, so now to make the jalapeno steak, you're gonna need the other star. I think actually this is the star. The star of this steak is definitely these onions. So, a little bit of history of the jalapeno steak. What happened was there was this guy. He was a Russian opera singer, and then he went over to Japan and he was like, oh my god, I really want a steak, I'm so hungry. And they were like, we'll make you a steak. And he's like, nah, my tooth hurts though, so can you make me a steak, but make sure it's super tender because my teeth hurt, I can't chew it. And so the Japanese chef was like, yeah, don't worry dude, I got you. So he goes up in his kitchen, and that's how he creates his jalapeno steak, by using onions. So onions have this enzyme inside of them that actually break down proteins. That's why a lot of marinades that you use have onions in them. Same thing, honey has the same active ingredient, so we'll be using honey as well. And that's my story of the jalapeno steak. So you get your onions, and then you can cut them how you want to, but I would like to finely mince them. A brunoise, if you would. Now that we have Chingos the onions, I'm actually gonna get a little bit of honey because honey has the same prolytic enzyme that is inside of the onions. So they'll work as a carrot. Like just a little bit. I'm just gonna mix all that in there. I'm not really going for like, I don't want the flavor too much of honey, just the properties that it carries. I'm gonna get it. And we're just going to put our onions all over the bottom of our pan. And then I'm gonna get my steak. And then I'm gonna get my second steak. My third steak's not gonna make it. The third steak just became snacks. Okay. Then you're gonna get the rest of your onions and we're just gonna put them right on top. And it's like, oh no, where's the meat? Oh, like that grandma, where's the beef? That came out like the 80s, right? I don't know. And there you have it. But just when you thought it was over, I actually do one other step that you don't see on the show. It's a Mary exclusive. Okay, so then we get our last onion. And I'm just gonna go through. Turn it off. And I'm just gonna rough chop him. Get the onion and put it inside of our blender with a little bit of water. And some more of the honey. Hopefully you can just cut that part out. Me shaking the honey. Hold on. Don't rush it. Squeeze. There. So I'm essentially making like an onion type of water. So I'm trying to macerate them all the way completely. That way you see all these little bits and nooks and crannies. This is gonna go right in between them. So I know for sure everybody getting a little piece of that onion. Everybody. That's what Yo Daddy says. We don't say these. Sweet, and now that's just gonna sit in our Frigidator for 30 minutes. The rice! All right, so while our meat is sitting up in the fridge marinating, I'm gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna make the base for our sauce. So when we pull it out, we can just as fast as we can. I'm just gonna get some garlic. Watch out, hopefully you don't have nails as long as I do. I'm gonna get them removed. I can't do anything with them. Actually, I can do a lot of things with them. I'm lying, I love these nails. I'm just gonna siphon out the parsley. I wanted like thin little strands, but I kind of like it up a little bit. It's okay, only y'all know. And then I'm gonna put some mushrooms in it. I just really like mushrooms. Watching Food Wars, when they actually do like one of their final competitions, and what is it, the dean or the don of the school is there, and he's that old ass man, and then whenever he eats food, his shirt pops off. Not all his clothes, just his shirt. So his shirt pops off to reveal that he's this like old man with this six-pack ab having self. And they'll be like, it wasn't that good because so-and-so shirt stayed on. So I'm like, so you see it. You see that his shirt's coming off, you know? It's like whenever there's a musical, and in the musical, everybody will randomly start singing, but nobody talks about them singing because they don't see that they're singing. Everybody knows that everybody's clothes come off, and they're okay with it. As soon as I feel like they broke the fourth wall with that. And I was like, so you understand that his shirt comes off. And there's one character in there that doesn't wear any clothes, and they're all okay with it. That one guy, he just wears an apron over his junk, and he's like, I'm free, guys. And they're like, that's just him. Just don't get it. Okay, so we've got our rice, and I have to use a rice cooker because I just make very terrible rice. It's a gift and a curse. The gift is people don't ask me to make rice. The curse is I mess up the rice when they do. Black rice, wild rice, brown rice, sushi rice, arborio rice. Actually, arborio I'm pretty good with. But otherwise, it's just discarable. Discarable, disgusting, and terrible. Discarable. So I'm gonna get our rice. I'm gonna fluff it all up with our fork using my handy dandy rice cooker that was only like $12. Just gonna get it and I'm gonna fluff it. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of rice wine vinegar to it. I'm just gonna splash a little bit on there. And then I'm also going to get our, I'm not gonna say umeshibo. Umeboshi. Damn! I'm dyslexic, sorry. Our pickled plum paste. And we're just gonna mix it right up in there. In with our fluffy rice. Maybe I should have transferred it to a bowl. It's too late. She commits. So if you can't find any of the actual pickled plums, or you don't have 3 weeks to actually pickle your own plums, because you know, I don't know where you at, plums might not be in season. Okay, so now I'm gonna put a little bit of oil at the bottom of this pan. It's like a couple tablespoons because I'm going to get these little bits of fat that I told you about, and I'm gonna render the actual fat from it. So just put them in. And they're just gonna cook all the fat out so the bottom gets nice and oily. So now that we've got a lot of our fat, you can see that. That's gold, baby, that's gold. I'm just gonna get out these little fatty pieces and I'm gonna add in our onions now, and we're just going to cook them in. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Okay, so the little bits of moisture that's gonna come from the onions is gonna break bits of the fond that are at the very bottom of this. And this is pretty much just going to be our topping. So just getting it, pushing it all over. I'm gonna put just a little bit of Japanese style soy sauce in here, just you know. That's about it, because the last thing I want is for this thing to be overly salty. And we're just going to mix this bad boy up so our onions are just a little bit translucent. They'll be soft to the touch, like to the tooth. Al dente. That's what they're gonna be. Okay, and then I'm gonna throw in our mushrooms when our onions are still working their way down. And then I'm only gonna throw in half of the garlic. A little pinch of sugar. That's it. All right, putting a little bit of oil into our pan that still has a lot of the fond in it from our onions. I got our steak, and I just patted the steak dry. You'll get more flavor if it's dry than if it's wet, otherwise it just kind of boils. Ooh, that's my favorite song. Ooh, where that red one? That's my favorite. All right, then let's see the other side of it. And she ready. After about a minute, maybe two, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna flip it. Oh, she's sexy. Because the steak itself is so thin and we scored inside of it, it really isn't gonna take that long. So I like my steak medium rare. As thin as this is, I don't think that that's gonna happen, but one can hope. Let that sit for a little bit. A little prayer. Maybe sing your favorite song. Talk about your favorite episode. Talk about how we're gonna save Bowl Club. Bowl Club. And I'm just gonna lift this right up. Lay it right in. Okay, so in the same pan, as soon as you're finished, you're gonna add in the rest of your garlic. Toss it around. Because you want it to get all the little bits of fond and bits of the onion that's in there. And then you're going to get a red wine that you would actually drink, or that your friends will drink because you don't really care for red wine because you like champagne. And you're gonna use that to deglaze the bottom of the pan. So all the little burnt bits that are at the bottom, burn's the wrong word, all the bits of fond that are stuck to the bottom, they're gonna start to adhere after you add that inside of it. Then I have a little bit of beef stock, and I'm just gonna throw that in there as well. Give it a get a nice little beefy flavor. Turn up this volume. Dance, dance, dance. I'm gonna throw in a splash of rice wine vinegar just for a bit of acid. We're gonna hit it with our honey one more time for just a touch of sweetness. Now you're gonna get sweetness from the onions that you have in there, but I enjoy a little bit more of the honey. Not really so much for like that pure honey flavor, but the subtle sweetness that it ends up giving out. And then we're gonna get a little bit of our dark soy sauce. And then we're just gonna mix it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You see it's bubbling. It's trying to get rid of the liquid that's in there so that we can get a nice cohesive sauce. So right when that's done, I'm gonna turn the heat all the way down and I'm gonna throw in some of our knobs of butter. Just whisk them. You want to turn the heat off because what you want to do is cause it to emulsify together. If your heat is too hot and your butter's too warm, it's just gonna melt and look greasy. She says, praying that it doesn't come out greasy. Butter. So now that you got that to tighten back up, I'm gonna get my spoon. And I'm just gonna, I know it's got jingles of onions on it. I'm okay with that. It's just me. It's almost there. It tastes a little salty. So, I'm gonna throw in a touch more acid and then just a little bit more honey to counterbalance it. And then we should be where we need to be. So we have our rice. We get our rice. I'm just gonna get our steak. Pile our steak right in there. Just a little bit of extra. I'm gonna get our sauce. And just, oh, baby. That's what my dad would say. Yeah, baby. And then finally, scoop up our onions and just pile them. And then if you have green onions, recommended. Put that on top, but I just got some parsley. I'm just gonna sprinkle the parsley. And then there you go. Here's your dish that's gonna help you save Bowl Club. So we have our beautiful chalet bean steak, our sauteed onions, and then the best part, our secret part is gonna be our rice. It's the rice with our pickled plum puree that's gonna be inside of it. That way, you're hitting all the different flavors. You've got acid, you've got sweetness, you've got a little bit of heat, you've got some fat. Oh, you've got that, ooh, mommy. It's all up in there. All right, now it's time to see if we have saved Bowl Club. Oh no, I missed. Bowl Club's going down. All right, guys, once you have fully successfully saved Bowl Club and found the rest of your clothes so that you can get redressed, why don't you go on ahead, go to your homes or your friends' homes, don't really care, and make this at your house. I would love if you took some pictures, tag me and some things on Instagram, just let me know what you were making. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll see you next week on Geeks and Grubs. You can like, comment, subscribe, do all three. You don't have to. I would like if you did, but you know what? I can't make you do what you don't want to do. YouTube things, y'all. All right, see you later.